フェルンの修行は順調ですか？
常人なら10年かかる道を4年で越えた。あの子は打ち込みすぎだ。あまりいいことじゃない。
最近ずっと森にこもりきりですからね。
Hey, Tay.
Hey, Sketch. So we just finished episode 2 of Frieren, and there was one question that kept coming to mind as we watched it. How do you repay the kindness of a loved one?
Well, in Frien's case, she obviously owes a great debt to Hyder, saving her as a small child. So the way she sees it is by learning magic and becoming a quote-unquote proper mage so she can support herself. I believe you dug out a quote for this, right?
So Fern tells Frieren why she's trying so hard is because Mr. Hyder, this is the quote, Mr. Hyder has always feared dying and leaving me alone. Learning some kind of skill to support myself is my way of repaying him. So in Fern's case, it didn't matter if it was magic, if it was arts and crafts, if it was building, construction, farming. It was just finding a way to support herself so she could continue living.
I think she even mentions, like, oh, it didn't have to be magic, right? Because she only has a little bit of interest in magic. She just happens to be naturally talented in it.
She seemed talented in it, and we do get a flashback at the end of the episode that she did choose magic because she seeing the first expression she had. Right now, we don't actually know if Hyder can or can't use magic or what his power set was. We do later learn on that the other priest in the group can use magic, so I would infer that he could also use magic to a lesser degree than Frieren. He's still a priest, of course. But it really brings into a couple questions to my mind, and the show gives an answer to this in their way. But how do you repay the kindness of someone that doesn't take money, that doesn't take actual physical things, in a sense, for their services? Right? When you go to the plumber, you go to a restaurant, they give you goods and services, you give them money in return. Right? Vice versa, somebody gives you money, you give them goods and services. A better example would be like a psychologist, right? They're not giving you anything tangible. They're giving you advice like a loved one would, or they're helping you process your life like a loved one would. But you give them money, right? But how do you repay the kindness of somebody that raised you, created basically your foundation of a person?
So I guess I have a short anecdote for this. So me and my sister do get along pretty well. We always try to do things for each other. I remember one time my sister threw me a little bit of a birthday party after I had a really, really crap day at work. And I'll honestly never forget about it. It's just this nice little thing. I still have the picture. But because of this, I'll always be able to do things for my sister. One time, she went to a party and she wasn't able to drive herself home, so she called me at about 4 a.m. in the goddamn morning. And you know what I did, Tay? I got up, I drove an hour and a half down the hill to go get her.
That's what you do. For anyone listening, down the hill in our sense, because we live on a hill, means 30 to 40 minutes of driving just to go pick up one way and then come back 30 to 40 minutes unless you're speeding. It's 30 to 40 minutes. So it is a big act to do this, not once, but multiple times.
I've done it a few times.
Right, and the show does a similar thing where it shows that Hyder isn't asking for anything unique. He's not pushing this on Fern. He wants to see his daughter, is what I'm going to call it, his adoptive daughter, to succeed like any parent would, right?
Did he not push it on Fern, though? He did trick her with the grimoire.
That's Frieren.
Or Fern is gonna...
Right? He saw Frieren and saw another mentor that could take Fern. Right? Again, a parent looking for the best for their child. You got the best mage in the world to take your daughter in, nothing better you can do. Right?
Fair enough.
Positive that she's also a friend that you can trust, right? And then my answer is there's a couple of ways that you can go out and repay the kindness of loved ones. One is just say you're grateful. Thank them, right? Right? Just saying thank you for doing these things for me. Giving thoughtful gifts. So in Frieren's case, there wasn't any item that she could have gave the priest that would have changed it. Maybe alcohol.
She did bring alcohol. The homeboy just couldn't drink it anymore.
Fern? I don't know if she brought it, but...
Oh, Frieren. Frieren bought the alcohol too.
That meant what Fern could bring. But Fern did bring the one gift that Hyder really wanted before he passed, was some way for her to support herself, to make sure that she can continue on living. And the last thing is to pay it forward, to help others in similar situations, to pass that mentality, the things that you learned, their memories forward. And this brings it back to, and the other question I had was, how do you cherish a loved one after they die?
So, second half of the episode, after Hyder's passing, he passes away, Fern and Frieren start traveling together, and then they come across a village that apparently her party has saved at one point. And Frieren works to go restoring a statue of Himmel. And she decides to go the extra mile for Himmel in this regard, in that she spends 6 months or so to try and find this one specific flower that Himmel really, really, really loved.
It was found in his hometown and he wanted to show her.
Unfortunately, he never really got the opportunity to.
Right, but then she still remembered this one memory. And we see that this whole second half of the episode is basically her cherishing Himmel's memory, cherishing him in a sense, after his death by finding that flower and planting it around his statue. She also cleaned the statue, revitalized it, cleaned up the whole area around it, right? And this also connects to story 1, where Hyder does the same thing with Himmel. He says, "If I died without doing anything, all the courage, strength of will, and friendship I learned from him, even all my precious memories, would have vanished from this world." He's basically saying, if he didn't take what Himmel showed him and applied it, there'd be no point in their relationship whatsoever. You can't cherish someone without cherishing who they are.
And Himmel really has an effect on more or less everyone, Frieren included, even before his passing. I mean, we have this quote from Frieren. "I used to live more apathetically, but then I got to know Himmel, who complimented my spells that I gathered." So she's usually a very unemotive person, but even through this act of trying to restore the statue and finding the flowers, she finds joy in this.
And she wanted to keep gathering spells because of Himmel. This is how she is cherishing his memory. The show is showing multiple ways to how to cherish loved ones, right?
Yeah.
So we see that Fern cherishes Hyder by becoming self-efficient, by learning how to be a mage. We learn that Frieren cherishes Himmel. He probably was Himmel when he took down the Demon King. But Himmel,
He's him.
He's him. But we learned that she cherishes Himmel's memory through learning spells, continuing, because he complemented that action of hers. And then Hyder, similarly, he saw actions in Himmel that he wanted to replicate. And he cherishes his memory by doing those things. And that's what I think the show is building towards, right? But what do you think we should do? Because we obviously can't learn magic. We can go save people, but I don't think it would be in the same vein of using magic.
No, that is far beyond what regular people are capable of. But what regular people are capable of are doing things like a memorial service, maybe a keepsake, something that you got from someone.
And the last thing I would say is talk about them. Make sure that other people knew that they were there. You can cherish these people by sharing them, right? You can share them with loved ones that already knew them, but you can also share them with people that didn't know them, to show what they did mattered to your life and how it may affect everyone else around you. Well, I hope you guys have a great day. Watch Frieren. It's a great show.
It really is. I enjoy it.
Bye-bye.
Laters.